Greetings, Earthlings. We are now taking over your radio.
Ayo, L-O-F-F, leaders of freestyle, boy, Clash of the Titans, Imperial Mike fighting. Cats simmer down, yo, you really not exciting. Claiming that you're writing, knowing that you're biting. I get the party live every time I grab the mic, son. Can't be Debo when you're Nemo. L-O-F, man, yo, we rock the show. Always incredible, man, you know the flow. Cypher time, come on, let's go.
It's like funk, what you heard, you're now rocking with the best. It's the mighty spoken words from them Lords of Finesse. You want a battle, we could take it to the floor, no stress. I'm a radio bum, and I'm as bum as it gets. Shout out to the kings, DJ, Chones, and fiends. They've been doing it for years, and they still in the scene. Graph writers, DJs, B-boys, and MCs. Mile High 303, that's the place to be.
Hip-hop is DJing, graph art and breakdancing. Take chances, start raising the bar when change happens. Esto es arte y cultura, para mí no cabe duda. Cada vez que buscas más encontrarás una gran aventura. So we can school you the cool ones who come to brew some new stuff. We're so amusing with music, we used to loosen you up. Lordz of Finesse, órale pues y hasta luego. Late night to MX2, we bring the fuego.
They will never last without any raza, we could let it crash. Send the cash, we the farmers of America. End it fast, like a day without a Mexican. Eso ya me tiene harto, we all immigrants. Lordz of Finesse, the señores de finura. Rap for the b-boys and all the hip-hop cultura. Encontré mi fortuna en esta música escucha. 20 years strong, we go hard en la pintura.
Mile high maven, was craven all rated. Like the banks, you could save it, dropping jaws, changing faces. Stick to the arrangement, the complacent got no place here. You ain't get the invitation, we ain't got no space here. It's smart and top pop, no squat, I need all of it. Queen of the hill, but I'm trillin' so tolerant. Gives a fuck about what you callin' it, that's game like LeBron champion. Just took off my headband.
Where was I? Oh yes, Big House is the name, this is for Lordz of Finesse. My flows are crossed to your chest, that's forcing your breath outwards. My outburst shows house words to leave you outworked. Yeah, now they looking like douse birds. Nothing flyer, but fuck with fire, you leave the house burn. Down this earth when your spirit is crushed, that's what you feel when you hear that it's us. Trust the rush.
Peace to rock steady, this is LOF, baby. In the world of obesity, we B-boy crazy beat.
LOF to me is Denver. When I think about Lordz of Finesse, I think about family. You can't separate us.
That was the cream of the crop, all city, all element crew to be down with.
LOF is my life.
Like, that's how I feel about LOF, is family. And that's what a crew should be. It should be family.
You're not gonna let anything separate that but yourself. So if you're choosing to separate yourself from that family, then you can't call it anything else but a choice.
It's always been family since day one. Lordz of Finesse never really died.
2007, I got put down with the LOF crew and been repping pretty tough ever since, and continue to rep to this day.
So got into hip hop about 83-ish, 84-ish.
History started with me and my boy Bus dancing in my basement on cardboard, and basically wanted to dance ever since I seen my big sister and my cousin Mars dancing in the 80s.
My little hip hop journey started around 93. Got down with LOF around 96. You know, just carrying on tradition. You know, peace, love, unity, having fun. You know, using our mind power without guns. You know, Lordz of Finesse. You know, leaders of freestyle. I'm just the MC of the crew. So, you know, party rocking, non-stopping, always hip-hopping, encouraging, empowering, and just giving back. You know, that good true school vibe.
Been doing hip-hop since the early 90s. DJing, MCing, graffiti, and b-boying, so all four elements. That's what I do.
Started back with Mars, Feud. I always loved hip hop, but started dancing with LOF by 93.
You know, when you start talking about hip hop, there's a foundation. I'm a part of the Legion of Doom, one of the foundational hip hop groups in Colorado, and closely related to the Lordz of Finesse. Brother Jeff, aka Mr. Magic back in the day.
Got into hip hop as a youngster back in the day through my family. Used to hear it on the radio. Used to hear a lot of soul and funk and R&B records. And saw some DJing on TV. Went to one of my first concerts way back in the 90s, like early 90s, and saw turntables cut it up. You could get down and throw down. And from that point on, I knew that I was going to be a DJ, or I wanted to be a DJ, and didn't have the opportunity until about 97, 98 actually.
You know, just growing up, got my fam, got peoples around me, just going through life. It just so happened to be. It's just the way. Can't really say much about it.
I moved to Denver from Los Angeles in 1980, and in 1980 I went to Antonito, Colorado, then to Pueblo, and then to Denver. And so I got there right on time for the blizzard that happened, this big blizzard in Denver. Mm-hmm. And so like 81, 82 was mainly that was what Denver was known for, this big blizzard that happened there. When that happened, I moved into a city called Arvada, and I moved into an apartment building called Brookside, and it was like the buildings were like 3 levels, and so there was like a couple other apartments on the same level. Right across from my door was a guy named Maurice Williams. So I met this guy named Maurice Williams right when I moved to Arvada, and he was the first person that taught me how to do the backslide. He actually really knew how to do it, and he told me about it, and I just kept practicing until I got it. And so by 82, I was already familiar with the backslide and the robot, and he was from Missouri, so he was telling me about a lot of things going on back east. And at that time, that's when we were finally exposed to Style Wars, and my father woke me up in the middle of the night. My father's a drummer, and he'd come back in around 3 in the morning from playing drums, and he woke me up in the middle at 3 in the morning, which was like probably 6 in the morning New York time, and we caught the end of Style Wars. And so we talked about it in school the next day, and everybody was talking about it, and we were trying to find out, did anybody get a video recording of it on their VCRs, because at that point not many people had one. And we waited, and finally a week later they played it again, and we were all really excited. That was really how hip-hop really found, Denver really found hip-hop in its essence.
I was introduced to b-boying, hip-hop in general, and when I saw the documentary film called Style Wars. From Style Wars, I kind of moved in from heavy metal to hip-hop, and the next day in school everyone was trying to be a hip-hop head and wanted to be like some sort of graffiti artist or a b-boy. But the first thing that I noticed in my intention was Subway art. And I seen he was bombing on trains, and once I saw that, I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be that type of graffiti artist.
Because before then I really wasn't into the culture like that, and so when I came back, I really wanted to open up a shop. I said, man, I want to open up a shop. I want to have like this gear there. I wanted like it to be a spot where people could come, because Denver, you know, even from me going through like high school experience, it was really segregated based on what side of town you lived on, east side, north side, west side, what have you. So I wanted a spot that anybody could go to. So I opened up a spot on 20th and Larimer, and people just started coming. And three of the guys that started coming regularly was Voice, Fiends, and Mars. And those 3 brothers, I developed like a familial connection with, and we just started chilling a lot. And they really kind of became a part of the shop. We all started just doing things collectively, and they were breaking still. And so they practiced at the shop. We all have black books. We just sketch. I was getting into graffiti more, so we were just painting. We were doing different things. We started throwing events, little jams and stuff, little battles. And the shop became a hub. The shop became a hub, I think, where Denver hadn't really had a hub during this time period. This is like 92. So at that point, we were just wanting to learn a lot more about hip hop. We were learning about Zulu Nation. You know, we were like, man, this is so dope, man. Me and Fiends used to be like, yo, I think we should get down with this. What do you think, Fiends? He's like, yeah, we should get down, yo. this is the real deal. So me and him both applied. We were waiting to see if, you know, we would get accepted and get our ID cards and be part of Zulu Nation. And we were just like learning more and getting more and more. I was getting more and more into hip hop. So that's kind of like, that's really when I consider the start of my journey really into the culture. And it really mainly hit home when I saw you guys' performance, your Ghetto Original performance in Boulder, when we all went out there to watch that. I had one of those, you know, life-changing moments. And I really credit both you guys, because I think if I hadn't seen that, I don't really know if I would have gone this route in life. I don't know what I would have done. I might have just gone the other route, you know, because I was kind of stuck in a weird pattern, because I had opened up the shop to make it non-gang related, but then it started getting gang related because this one gang started hanging out there all the time. And then I started dating one of the dudes in the gang. And I was like sitting there watching the show, watching you guys' show. And it just hit me. I was like, yo, I want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. And it was a confirmation, and I just never looked back.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my original crew, Fresh Kids, their legacy that they came from is called Break Till Dawn, which was in 78, 79. I started my own not-for-profit in 96, but it was a crew before that called Full Circle. I started that, but the poor man's copyright to that already, like in 88, 89, I believe. The original members to that were Clown, Storm, Swift Rock, and a whole slew of others, Shaky Shake, Bam Bam, whole bunch of people, Speedy. And so ever since hip hop saved my life. So I was a foster kid, and for me, hip hop adopted me.
Pretty much it gave me an outlet. It gave me knowledge. It schooled me in a lot of ways that, I mean, the whole hip hop culture, there's nothing like hip hop culture. I mean, there's nothing comparable in terms of like breaking barriers between, you know, religion, nationalities, people, communities, like cultures, like is global, and being able to connect with people on a global scale, regardless of, you know, what background you're from. With everything going on right now in 2020, I think what the world needs to understand is that hip hop can bring all communities, all lives, all races, all genders, all religions, everything that exists for humanity. Hip hop can bring peace and unity and love and art. So the world needs to understand that, you know, hip hop might be one of the only ways to be able to unite the world and humanity. Hip hop plays a major role in every country, in every hood, every ghetto. There's hip hop.
Hip hop changed my life a lot. I mean, all four elements, man, kept me out of trouble growing up. Gangs were bad back then, kept me away from them. But I mean, I used it to try and encourage younger generations too to stay away from the unnecessary violence.
I think without hip hop, I'd probably went down a different path, a bad path. But with graffiti, DJing, MCing, you know, and dancing, I think, yeah, it's definitely changed my life.
From Star Wars, I kind of moved in from heavy metal to hip hop, and the next day in school, everyone was trying to be a hip hop head and wanted to be like some sort of graffiti artist or a b-boy. But the first thing that I noticed in my intention was subway art, and I seen Scene. He was bombing on trains, and once I saw that, I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be that type of graffiti artist. So it transitioned. It became 4 elements. Well, actually it was. So we were actually educated by PBS.
And so that started a frenzy, and I didn't know that there was other kids in the city that were really in the know and taking this serious. And we were just practicing in Arvada, and I got in a dance competition at US on Wheels. And that was my first breaking competition. Right in the middle of the roller skating rink, they would have a little dancing. You would get to walk right through the middle and dance in the middle. And so that's how my first battle. And Maurice and I started the first group, Radioactive. In the end of '82, beginning of '83, we were into our first competitions. The first competition we entered as a group was at the Rainbow Music Hall, and it was Breakoff '84. And that was when we were organized as a dance group now. We already had 5, 7 members. And rest in peace, Sonny Trujillo, and rest in peace, Wayne Quintana, who were 2 of those original 5 members. And so that was my beginning of it.
When they said breaking was over, I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I wrestled, you know, my whole life, and I did that, but there was always something missing, right? So, and I missed that breaking. So, you know, when I met these dudes from Chicago, Rafa and Zor, I got introduced to them from an artist. He was the last great muralist. He studied under the last great muralist. His name's Leo Tanguma. And his murals are the center of conspiracy theory, but he was just a visionary, man. And all that conspiracy stuff ruined his career. But anyway, Leo introduced me to some guys from Chicago called SB. They're called the Spray Brigade. And they did murals with Leo, and they were out here in Denver, and we used to hang out at a place over here called Chalk, which used to be on like 42nd and T-Home. And Leo knew that we hung out there because they gave us a little spot so we wouldn't be on the streets. So Leo brought them there. We met Rafa and Zor. Rafa and Zor was like, yo, you guys break? We're like, nah, nobody breaks no more in Denver. That was like in around 92. We're like, nobody breaks no more. And they're like, we still break in Chicago. It went underground. It never stopped. And we're like, no way. So we took them to a mall here in Denver. It's called Westminster Mall. It's not there no more, but we were talking about it while we were walking in the mall. They started breaking right in the mall. And I hadn't seen it in so long. I snapped and I started dancing with them too. And we got kicked out the mall. But that made me catch the bug again. And then everything was like chain reactions after that. We tried to mimic SB and started a crew called SP, which was Soul Patrol, because we were into our history. And, you know, the soul like the sun. So we were the Soul Patrol, and my boys, Big Cisco, Milk, Chones, my brother Chones, and me, we were that crew. And then we ended up linking up with another crew called DSK. And DSK and Soul Patrol became NC, which became the No Claims crew because gang violence was crazy in Denver at that time. No Claims crew is LOF before LOF was LOF.
So, you know, all of this is happening. And then I'm going to fast forward now to when we started to develop So What Happens Now. We developed this as rhythm technicians. At the same time, Fassi Fontanez is talking to Legs about you need to get back into on your grind with breaking. Wiggs doesn't live too far from Legs, and I go to visit Wiggs all the time because we do music and we pop and practice and all of that. And so we all put together this play called So What Happens Now. We spoke about it into a recorder, and Fable and his sister made it into a script. So this play enabled us to get on a show, the Kennedy Center Honors, and we were honoring the Nicholas brothers. And that became the dance show that we did. We weren't able to do the play, but we were dancers that did a play. It was the first hip hop musical. So that actually catapulted us into going on tour through a lady by the name of Margaret Selby. She worked with PBS. And there was a lot of things jumping off. But one of the things that jumped off was a tour at the Boulder Dance Festival, right? Colorado Dance Festival in Boulder. And I remember telling my people from around the way, I was like, yo, I'm about to go to Colorado. Because they were like, yo, Kwik, what you up to? Because you're the only one still doing your thing. I'm like, I'm going to Colorado. They were like, for what? I'm like, I'm going to go represent hip hop in Colorado, in Boulder. They were like, in front of who? Cows? I was like, y'all stupid. There's people over there. We're going on tour. And so, and at that time, I really needed to get away from the city. I needed something to change in my life. And when I went to Denver, actually Boulder, saw those mountains and just saw the people around, and it just calmed my soul. I'm like, this is a completely different place, man. This is really good for my soul. So much so that I would skip around. I didn't even notice, but Grem noticed. because he was sitting in the restaurant. He's like, yo, I swear to God, you skipped by the store. You wasn't even walking, you were skipping. Now, I'm already a toe walker by nature, so I'm on my tippy toes all the time. But I felt so good in Boulder that my spirit was free, man. I was like, yo, this is amazing. So I was probably not knowing it, but skipping everywhere like a little kid. So, and we were representing something that meant the world to us. And people were loving what the experience. And I remember we were supposed to perform at a theater, I believe, somewhere in Boulder. I think, what is that main theater that they do shows in, raves and stuff? It's in Boulder.
I think it's called the Fox Theater.
The Fox. I think we were supposed to do the Fox, and something happened, and we ended up having to do it at Boulder High School, or whatever the high school was. I forgot what high school that was. And we were like, damn. But it turned out to be a blessing because more of the community got to come out to see us. And that show is where I think Fiends, a lot of people saw us in that show. But what was happening at the time when that was over, everybody went back home. But I wanted to stay, but I didn't know how I was going to stay. And I forgot this woman's name who was one of the hosts for this tour. She said, if you want to stay, I'm going away for the summer. You can use my house and you can have my car for the summer. I was like, what? Yo, this place is magical. I said, yo, I'm down. So I told everybody, I said, yo, I'm staying. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew something was there for me to do. I didn't know what it was. And so, here I am. I'm lounging in this house, chilling. I got a ride, right? And she goes, so when are you going to get to work? I was like, what? Oh, yeah, cool. So where am I working at? Because I was doing a lot of workshops along with Get Original during the whole time we were there, right? And the name Get Original comes from the amalgamation of Rhythm Technicians and the Rock City Crew. There was kind of debate over the billing of the names, so we came up. Actually, Fable came up with a name called Get Original, and we went under that name, just to clear that up. Anyway, this woman said, okay, yeah, so, you're going to teach workshops. I like the way you teach workshops. So I was like, cool, so where they're going to be? She was like, here, boom, and put down the yellow pages. She goes, the workshops are in there. I was like, what? She was like, you got to look for where you want to teach your workshops. I'm not going to get them for you. I was like, okay. So I started looking up names, and I just pointed my finger at one name that stood out to me. It said Dance Forums. I was like, I want to see what this place is about. And it was Boulder. And from Dance Forums, I went and started teaching. I forgot the name of the place that was in Boulder, in the middle of town on that main avenue. Dance West. It's a place. My computer in the background. Thanks, Rock.
Appreciate you, sis.
I'm like Star Trek. I'm like, computer, where did I teach? That's Rock. And it was Dance West. That's some husband-wife shit right there.
Right there.
So Dance Forums and Dance West were my first seeds I started, planting when it came to the workshops. And then from those workshops, I started teaching high schools around Boulder, and then I ended up teaching in Denver. And somewhere in Boulder, I met Milk.
Milky
Milk. And Woo! Milk was like, yo, I know some people that really want to learn this. I said, okay, where they at? He was like, in Denver. I was like, how do I get there? So I took the bus, and that's when I met Fiends at a place called Chalk. And I met,
Chalk.
Yeah, Chalk. So I met Sam, Africa Sam. I met Mars. I met Source. I met Fiends' brother, Chones. And we all started hanging out in Chalk just like 4 or 5 days a week. And I remember when I met them, I met Fiends in particular. I said, look, man, where the brothers at? He was like, I got a brother. His name is Chones. I'm like, no, the Black brothers. Because I'm Afro-Latino, and I cannot get down with this unless the brothers are involved, man. You got to understand the culture, the movement behind this. And that led us to frequent this place we call the Brother Club in Aurora. Number of brothers went there. I'm like, you got to earn respect of the brothers, man, with your skill set. Like, how are we going to do that? I'm like, I'm going to throw y'all to the wolves. Y'all got to earn this keep. You know what I mean? If you're going to be in hip hop, you got to know what this is about. And sure enough, man, we attracted all kinds of brothers and brown brothers in the crew. And it became synonymous with a skill set, from MCs to writers to breakers to poppers. freestyle dancers. And I'm like, y'all need to develop something for your city, for you, because this was here before, but something's happening where you need to replant some new seeds and make your own crew. And so we started coming up with different names, and Lordz Of Finesse is the name we ended up with.
So that's where it spawned from. And like I said, the domino effect was coming. So Ghetto Originals came through Denver, and my boy Milk was like in the right spot at the right time all the time. And there was a rec center not far from here called Ashland, and Milk met them. We were at Asia's spot, which was La Casa del Funk, which was like a home base for us on 20th and Larmer.
I wanted a spot that anybody could go to, so I opened up a spot on 20th and Larimer, and people just started coming. And three of the guys that started coming regularly was Voice, Eanes, and Mars.
And Milk called us at the store because, you know, we didn't really have cell phones, and not all of us have pagers because we're kind of poor. So they called us at Casa. We went to Ashland. Met Kenny, Wiggles, Legs, Fable, Gremlin, Soul Messiah. They were all there painting it. And it was just crazy. Like, all my childhood idols were there in the flesh. The domino effect kept going. We got tickets to their show from Gremlin. We were the only kids from the city at the show because everybody else was from Boulder. We threw a crazy party the night before the show at my house because we were so hyped that they were here. And my boy Mars was sleeping on the party. He was sleeping on the show, but I got to dance on stage with him that day, and I was still crazy, like wild, uncontrolled, and almost fell off the stage doing windmills. But it was a night that I'll never forget.
And those three brothers, I developed like a familial connection with, and we just started chilling a lot, and they really kind of became a part of the shop. We all started just doing things collectively, and they were breaking still, and so they practiced at the shop. We all have black books. We just sketch. I was getting into graffiti more, so we were just painting. We were doing different things. We started throwing events, little jams and stuff, little battles, and the shop became a hub. The shop became a hub, I think, where Denver hadn't really had a hub during this time period. This is like 92. So at that point, we were just wanting to learn a lot more about hip hop. We were learning about Zulu Nation. You know, we were like, man, this is so dope, man. Me and Fiends used to be like, yo, I think we should get down with this. What do you think, Fiends? He's like, yeah, we should get down. Yo, this is the real deal. So me and him both applied. We were waiting to see if, you know, we would get accepted and get our ID cards and be part of Zulu Nation. And we were just like learning more and getting more and more. I was getting more and more into hip hop. So that's kind of like, that's really when I consider the start of my journey really into the culture. And it really mainly hit home when I saw you guys' performance, your Ghetto Original performance in Boulder, when we all went out there to watch that. I had one of those, you know, life-changing moments. And I really credit both you guys, because I think if I hadn't seen that, I don't really know if I would have gone this route in life. I don't know what I would have done. I might have just gone the other route, you know, because I was kind of stuck in a weird pattern, because I had opened up the shop to make it non-gang related, but then it started getting gang related because this one gang started hanging out there all the time. And then I started dating one of the dudes in the gang, and I was like sitting there watching the show, watching you guys' show, and it just hit me. I was like, yo, I want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. And it was a confirmation, and I just never looked back. So after that, I really was like, all right, let me, I don't know how much more I can really do here in Denver. Like, I feel like I need to go. I feel like I need to. And at that point, I was going to San Diego, back and forth to San Diego to get the gear from my shop, because they had that underground trade show called the 432F show. And so that was the birth of that show. Was the first show that we had, at least anywhere close to the area, really in the West, where it was a hip hop streetwear trade show. And, you know, that's where I met Futura, Stash 2, Mark Echo. Everybody really was over there doing their clothes. Brew, West, from PNB Nation, Zulu and them. They were all the graffiti artists were making clothing at that point. So anyway, they would all convene as part of this 432F show. And when I started going over there and seeing like the hip hop scene in San Diego, I was like, man, this is on another level. Like we might be doing some stuff in Denver, but these cats are nasty. Like I wanted to learn more and be a part of something larger.
And it's funny because when I know your story, it's similar. We have similar stories of like growing from Denver and doing everything we can in Denver and then moving and saying, all right, we need to move. But I went back to Los Angeles from 87 to 90. And I was here doing a bunch of things, making records, trying to keep b-boying alive and so forth. Started Rocksteady in the West Coast. And then at that time, So What Happens Now was happening in New York. I went to New York for that. That's when I met Kwik. And that was beginning of a whole other chapter in life. Legs called me up from LA, said they were getting ready to start this show called Get Originals. They were getting ready to premiere a show called So What Happens Now with Latin Empire and with now with Kwik. This is the first time I meet Kwik. Storm was in town hanging out. There was we were actually working on music stuff at the time. So when I came into New York City, I was actually working on a bunch of records. I was already signed to QD3, working on my independent records outside of the Latin Alliance after leaving the Virgin Records. So I was going out there looking for record business at the same time. And so I was producing music, and I already had my fashion company working here at the hip hop shop in Los Angeles. And so when I went to New York, I was very, very capable and really hungry. I was out piecing with Hard Rocks, with Rule, with Master Ace, piecing borough to borough. While I was in rehearsals, we were still doing Rocksteady business, and we were in rehearsals for Get Original. And Get Originals is what brought me back to Denver. And when we went back, we went to Boulder. We were booked to do our show in Boulder. All of us had been coming down from a lot of injuries. So I remember that first trip, we were all in getting acupuncture. Me, Ken, Legs, Kwik, all of us were getting acupuncture. Our neck, we had like pinched nerves.
And I thought it was amazing, man. These guys practiced whatever I gave them, they took it. They just chewed it up, man. And, we were in Denver when it was barren. So we were bombing all throughout downtown.
Oh, yeah.
We would carry linoleum to the club because the raves were happening. So with the raves, we played some breaks. Yeah. So we were in line with linoleum, paid our way in, and moved people out the way. We were some bold kids, man. We didn't care. And we were also having sessions at your place, Casa de Funk. DJing there, breaking there. We borrowed your clothes. We're like, yo, we tell everybody where we got this gear from.
I know.
You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty dope. So it was all synonymous with promoting what hip hop meant to all of us. And at that point, it was saving people's lives. Fiends probably saved my life on one occasion when this car pulled up. Now I'm from New York, so when a car pulls up, they're like, yo, what's up? Car pulled up. And I was like, yo, what's up? And Fiends grabbed me right away, moved me to the side. He was like, yo, you can't say what's up out here. What's up means like you want some beef, and they rolled down the window and started shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I want to be doing that again. I want to make it to next practice.
Right.
So it was really a unique time because we were able to wield the sword of destiny in our own hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Young soldiers who were like really hungry for something to be able to direct our lives. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was a young mentor. I was still learning, but and I was looking at the reflection of hip hop in young people's eyes. You know what I mean? So you had Lordz of Finesse, you had Queens of Finesse. We were able to go to concerts in Boulder and meet like iconic MCs that didn't have breakers, and we would just go on that stage and wreck shop. And so Chones was able to make his way as a DJ. Fiends was able to make his way up until today. Now he's a coach that mentors the youth. And that comes out of hip hop. That comes out of knowing who you want to be. And I tell people, you might not end up being a world-class breaker, but you're going to be a world-class individual that knows the complexities of what it's like to move on the floor, and you will move like that through life. The way you rock in a cipher or the way you allow a cipher to rock you is the way you will rock life, or allow life to rock you.
Woo.
Right? So you gotta have
great.
command. You gotta have command over what's happening. And hip hop, like everybody knows, hip is to know and hop is a movement. And that comes at the speed of need. So whatever is happening in life, hip hop can handle if hip hop is coming from the cultural aspect. If it's coming from the consumer aspect, well, hip hop will do that to you. It will completely consume you when you intended to consume it. But culture doesn't allow that. Culture allows you to consume it so then it can nourish you.
Yes.
And that's the difference. You know what I mean? And these are the kind of things that I would talk about all of the time to the young brothers in, you know, Lordz of Finesse. And together we were able to rock. And I stood out there for like a year. And we were rocking in black books. We were rocking at the clubs. We would rock walls. We would sit and talk philosophy. And, you know, everybody was susceptible to the nutrition that allowed us to grow into the men that we became later. And that is the short story. And I met you, the Lordz of Finesse, and you know we built a bond. And we remember we went out to LA. We weren't even mad. We were like, yo, spread the word. Let us know what's happening out there. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep on rocking here.
Yeah.
And what happened is that Lordz of Finesse became so good that they were able to represent in California at the summit. And people were like, yo, who are these dudes? And they were able to help put Denver on the map.
Asia ended up moving to California and started the event, the B-Boy Summit. She invited us the first years. However, we represented in '93. As you can see in the footage, we're there dancing, you know, ciphering with Rocksteady and several other crews. And that was our introduction to the B-Boy Summit.
Asia is an original member of our crew, you know, so Asia and us were all crew. We all hung out. We chilled before she moved to Cali. And when she moved to Cali, you know, she left Denver and we stood behind and we kept doing our thing in Denver, but she started making moves in Cali and she made it with all the Cali heads and she got together with them and they decided to do the B-Boy Summit and back then we wanted to train and rep in ciphers so we could get respect of like Ken Swift or Crazy Legs or just be in the circle with Rocksteady crew. Like that was our goal. Our goal wasn't to like win contests or or things like that. If we got in a battle, so be it. We will battle, win, lose, whatever. It didn't really matter. But we wanted to be recognized for our skills. So when we found out about the summit was going to happen, Asia sent us these invites to Denver and all we did was train for the summit. We trained for the summit and when we went, our main goal was to go to the summit, B-Boy Summit 2, and just wreck shop. And I think that's what myself, Mars, and J-Rock did in those ciphers out there. I think we wrecked shop. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that Lordz of Finesse was from Denver. We went to Denver over there to dance. And we danced, we got loose, and we went into ciphers. Any cipher that we seen at the after party too, we got loose the whole time we were there. And that was our goal. And then I didn't actually get to go back to the summit until '99 because I started having kids and stuff. So '99 was a great time because we went with Phase 2, my brother crew, Phase 2, and we went with the Boogie Brats, and we went in full force then. You know, we were all full circle at that time. So we all went to rep hard at the B-Boy Summit. So the summit has a special place in my heart, man. I went out with my daughter a few years ago, and it was a great time.
There's a lot of history with the resurgence of hip hop that happened in '93 through a crew called Lordz of Finesse.
And the rest is kind of history. Kwik Step agreed to teach us, but in agreeing for Kwik Step to teach us, we had to quit partying, getting high. You know, my name is Fiends. That's because I used to like to get high a lot, so that's where my name came from. And Kwik was like, to me and Mars and everybody else, my brother, like, yo, you guys gotta quit drinking and smoking weed or whatever we're doing it. And we did everything that he asked, and we trained, we relearned how to break. Mars and I braked when we were kids, like 11, 12, 13 years old. And then we stopped. So we relearned everything that we already knew we had to relearn. And we learned that at Chalk, and then up the street right from where we're at. We're at Lordz Park right now, which is on 38th and Navajo. And right up the block on in the Kwik Newtons is where LOF was spawned. The name was founded. It's where it came about. And we were at my cousin's kitchen, and that's where we thought of it.
And you can't think about hip hop in Colorado without the Lordz of Finesse. You know, when you think about hip hop and its importance, society must understand that, you know, it's the creativity that bursts forth, particularly when there are lack of resources. People are going to always figure out a way to do a certain number of things, and many of those things have to do with moving that body, moving that sound, the vibration, and hip-hop was born out of a young spirit into a world that tried to suppress it. But as you see now, it has grown into a full-grown adult with great-great-grandchildren, and it continues to move forward and offer blessings to the planet. And so that's what society should understand about hip-hop. It's the beauty of creativity, the motion, the movement, all of the elements, and it continues from then to now and will move on into the future. And that's what I'm excited about.
And I'm like, whatever happens, man, no matter how good you get, always represent the seeds that were here before you. There were things happening before you, and you're going to get to know them. And some of you are already a part of that. And for people who don't know, always carry your ancestors with you. Yeah. And they'll be with you whenever you rock. And that's really, really important. You guys have your own history. New York has its own, but you have your own. Dig into that history, and together we can all rock, because we're all looking for the same thing, which is to be part of a movement that represents us at our worst time, so we can represent the best time.
You know, when we talk about the B-Boy Summit, this is something that is a tradition, and folks are going to come from all around. And so if you want to see some movement, you want to see some spirits, you want to see some camaraderie, you want to see what the next level is, you need to participate, be at, or be connected to the B-Boy Summit. I'll never miss it, and I'm telling you, if you miss it, you're going to truly miss out. The B-Boy Summit, that's what it's all about.